Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show for Saturday, June 26th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mac, and our Saturday guest. He's with us now every Saturdays moving forward. David Sharpe, Sharpie Bets on Twitter. We are ready to break down this Saturday MLB card. We're going to start with a double header today. The Houston Astros and the Detroit Tigers. We've got Framber Valdez, the lefty, for the Houston Astros. Casey Mize for the Detroit Tigers in this matchup. Right now, we've got Houston in that minus 210 home road favorite range. The total 7, of course, being a doubleheader. It's a 7-inning game. What's going to give here? The impressive young pitcher Casey Mize or this unstoppable machine that is the Houston Astros lineup right now? It's a great matchup, really. And it's going to be a good test for this young guy, Casey Mize. However, he did face the Astros back in April, earlier this season. And guess what? He shut him down, and he pitched extremely well against them. Now, it's the second time seeing Casey Mize for what's one of the hottest lineups going right now in Major League Baseball. What are they averaging? 8 runs per game, over 300 average collectively against righties in the last 10 games for this Houston group. And their team total has been just almost an automatic bet, an automatic casher if you've been betting these team totals to the over for Houston of late. But, Casey Mize is a capable young pitcher, so it's going to be a great matchup here. That lineup against this pitcher. Framber Valdez has just been rolling along here in June. He has had a phenomenal month for the Houston Astros. The lefty is on fire, I believe sub-2 ERA here in the month of June, pitching extremely well. So, if you buy into maybe the potential, and remember, these two teams didn't play yesterday, so the off day can sometimes be a negative for hitters. The rhythm's off, the timing's off a little bit. You didn't get in the batting cages as much yesterday. You obviously didn't play a regular game. Could that throw the pitching off, hitting off potentially in this game? So maybe you could look at an under in this game at 7 because Valdez is in excellent form. It's going to come down to whether Mize can shut down this potent lineup, and he sure did that in April. Can he do it again is the question. But I guess if I would lean one direction or another, it would actually be the under here, especially with that day off yesterday. So under would be the lean for me here. David, we'll start with you with this one. Houston-Detroit game 1.
I leaned under first 5 too. I saw the 5 and I did a little digging. We got 15-mile-per-hour wind blowing in, which helps the under. But then we go back to spider tack, sticky substance. Casey Mize the last 3 weeks has gave up 3 runs or more, guys. He's on that list. He hasn't been lights out. He's been getting hit, guys, and I expect the same. I took the run line -1.5 at -135. It was a little juiced, but this game's so heavily juiced out, it was just hard to get a spot in. But I needed to get in on the Astros right here. They're just dominating. They have the number 1 bullpen the last 2 weeks. They're the number 1 bats. They're just the number 1 team in baseball. So I'm on them.
And by the way, Valdez's last 3 starts, which were the Astros have won his last 4 starts, but the last 3 starts, 7-1 over Boston, 14-3 over Minnesota, 7-3 over the White Sox. So by margin, not only wins, but wins by margin. So that feeds into that run line bet there on the Astros. What do you think here, Connor? Houston, Detroit.
Yeah, we'll see. The Astros just have, like you said, David, been that goddamn good. I don't know. Maybe sometimes a day off, in the wind, it's raining. I lean under here, like you talked about. You can go first 5 at 5 or full game here, the 7. You're only getting 7 innings. Valdez has been that good so far this year. Casey Mize, you're right. He's gotten by. He's kind of 6 innings, 3 runs his last few starts. I think the Tigers got a nice price. Man, if the Astros weren't playing so damn well right now, I'd like to take their first 5 almost at +200 here. But I'm going to stay off, but I lean under here. The Astros are just rolling, but I don't trust that bullpen. I know they've done good the last 2 weeks, but I think they're garbage. And I want nothing to do with them. But I'm staying off. I lean Tigers at first 5 at that big number, and I might pull the trigger on the under here. Full game first 5, I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, to keep in mind, too, the first 5, I find I'm more interested in the full game under when it's a doubleheader because it's only 7 innings. There's only 2 more innings. You got less bullpen worry. The bullpen is always a worry. Who's getting who,
Yeah.
but especially these days. But at least you only have to deal with maybe 2 innings of these clowns out of the bullpen for some of these teams, which is good when you're talking about a 7-inning game in a doubleheader. Next up, we've got the Seattle Mariners and the Chicago White Sox. Another game with a chance of rain, although 30 to 40%. So this may not be a complete washout or a complete postponement, but you might see a small delay or two. Logan Gilbert for the Seattle Mariners, Lance Lynn for the White Sox. White Sox north of -200, 8.5 the total in this one. I don't know what to tell you right now, but I'm going to say it, and I'm not scared to. White Sox stink right now. They stink. They're not very good, and I'm not laying this price with them at the moment. No way, no how. I know Lance Lynn's had a very, very good season for the White Sox, 2.14 ERA. There's not really much you can say in a negative light regarding the old Bulldog, Lance Lynn. However, last couple starts, not the same. And actually, the White Sox 0-3 in his last 3 starts. Against Tampa Bay, 3 runs in 6 innings. The last time against Houston, albeit, as we just mentioned, that red-hot Astros lineup, 6 runs, 8 hits, 4 innings, had a terrible, probably his worst start of the season. Can he bounce back here against Seattle is the question. I'm starting to see the kid, Logan Gilbert, pitch a little bit better for this Mariners team. You look at his last 5 starts. He's given up 2 runs or less in 4 of the last 5 starts. Seattle is a perfect 5-0 in Logan Gilbert's last 5 starts. I'm looking at a live big dog potential. And I remember I took Seattle in this price range against Cleveland one time or two. I think Bieber was on the mound once. And I took Seattle as a road dog in this range, and they got it done for me. I'm interested in Seattle. First 5 full game split here. This is a struggling White Sox team. Their offense has gone dormant. It's gone cold. Look at last night. They did nothing pretty much in that game. Just a team that's overvalued right now based on the terrific, first 3 months or first 2 months they had, April and May. Last half of June's been dismal for them. So I like Seattle, and I like the way this kid Gilbert is trending. He's trending in the right direction. So I like Seattle here. First 5 full game. We'll take a shot with the big dog price on the Mariners. What do you think here, Conor Mac, Seattle, Chicago?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting game. The White Sox, you're right, have hit the shit list. They are really hitting the skids. I don't really want much to do with them either. Lance Lynn hasn't been well either. His last 3 or 4 starts, his ERA has ballooned. Gilbert's pitched better his last 2 or 3. I've been on him. I think Lance Lynn, though, could pitch well here early. I lean the first 5 under 4.5. It's -110. I might get burned here, but I'm leaning that way in this one. And yeah, I think the Mariners at this price worth a shot right now. Who knows? The White Sox could start hitting, but I don't trust them. So I think maybe a first 5 on the Mariners here is worth a shot as well.
And Logan Gilbert, by the way, 3-0 the Mariners in his 3 road starts this year, 2.3 ERA away from Seattle for Logan Gilbert. So he's pitched quite well here on the road. And again, look at these White Sox numbers. Last 10 games, you know what they're hitting against righties in the last 10? 190. That's it. 190. 2.28 runs per game against righties. So I don't know. I think this is a live dog here. What do you think here, Sharpie?
Shout out to the chat. Hit the like button. Hit the share. Thanks for all that. I'm on Seattle +1.5 -120. I'm on your guys' eyes, guys, but I got the 1.5 at pretty much a price I like to bet on. Seattle's the better team the last 2 weeks. Hands fucking down, guys. And like they're saying already, we got Gilbert and Lynn. They're about the same type of pitcher right now. And I wrote lean the first 5 under 4.5. And now that I heard Connor on it, I'm going to go bet it. I heard him leaning. If I'm leaning and he's leaning, we usually hit those unders in those discords. So I'm going to have to bet that. But like you said, I'm on Seattle, just not on the crazy plus price. I got it at -120.
All right, liking that +1.5 there on Seattle, -120. We got the Cleveland Indians and the Minnesota Twins next up. Sam Henkes, the lefty for Cleveland. Henches, that's how you say it. Kenta Maeda, Minnesota -175. Home favorites here, 9.5 the total. This is another game. There could be some weather disruptions, but again, we're looking at light rain and only a possibility 30 to 40%, much like the game we just talked about with Chicago. So there may or may not be delay. And the fact that there could be a delay is what's keeping me at least a little bit pumping the brakes on this game maybe going over the total, because that's my lean in this game is over. I think we could see. I don't trust Maeda. Maeda's struggled against Cleveland. Cleveland has whacked Kenta Maeda this season. They have absolutely feasted on this guy, and obviously he's had a disappointing season. There's no question about that. But on the flip side, there's nothing to like really about Sam Hentges for the Cleveland Indians. 6.4 ERA coming into this start. He struggled mightily as well. We saw a boatload of runs in a slugfest with these two teams last night. It wouldn't surprise me to see more of the same here today. But you are talking about a potential for a rain delay. And you know what happens when we get those? The game speeds up. The umpires want to get it over with. The players are less patient. They have bats. They're swinging out of their cleats, out of their shoes. And the games just gets rushed. And that's usually bad news if you like the over. So that's the one thing I'm going to wait on. Let's see if we get a delay or not. But if there is no delay, we start on time, and it doesn't look like rain will affect this game, then I'm definitely interested in over 9.5 here. Connor, what do you think, Cleveland, Minnesota?
Yeah, man, do I want nothing to do with this game here. Indians got me yesterday. It was horrible. You give me 6 runs in 5 innings, and you get a push, and he gave up that last run in the bottom of the 5th. Oh, that was icing on the cake for me yesterday. Maeda's been a bit better lately, but you're right. He's gotten rocked here by the Indians. I don't want them either. You're right. The rain's got me. I'm off the game. I'd lean over. I think there could be more runs as well. You went through some of the guys, Naylor, Hedges. Hernandez is 8 for 29 with 4 doubles and 2 homers off Maeda. He might be a sneaky jack of the day guy. You get a good price, but I'm off it here.
Yeah, by the way, Maeda's ERA in day games this year, 5.6, not very good. But you look again, Maeda against Cleveland this year, 8 runs in 10.2 innings. Terrible in 2 starts. And both of those games, by the way, went over the total. So it is worth mentioning that. So that's definitely what I'm looking at here. What do you think, Sharpie, of this game?
I have written down lean over 9.5 like you also. But I also have a live bet next to it. I want it to go 0-0. Give me an 8.5 or a 7.5, and then I'll jump on that. That 9.5 is a tricky number. 9, it lands on a lot, guys, in baseball. So if I can get underneath it, I'm going to jump on it.
Yeah, with these bad pens. Totally agree. Yeah, yep. This could be a wait. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, by the way, both bullpens, speaking of those bullpens, both bullpens the last 10 games have an ERA above 4. So that's not good. You're getting those kind of numbers from your bullpens. Pittsburgh and St. Louis. We've got JT Brubaker, Adam Wainwright on the mound here in this one. St. Louis in that moderate favorite range again, which is not a price range I'm interested in this St. Louis team right now. I can tell you that. Total 8. Pittsburgh's actually been pretty feisty lately. They split with the White Sox earlier this week, and actually they could have won both games. They took 2 of 3 from a good Cleveland team last weekend, and they've won the first 2 games of this series against St. Louis. You know, it's bad for St. Louis. You're in a bad way when Chad Kuhl and Will Crow are finding ways to beat you right now. That tells you all you need to know about this St. Louis team. They are in an absolute brutal way right now. Can't lay a price with them, just can't. Now, the one thing that is going to keep me off Pittsburgh today is Adam Wainwright at home. You know, we do know he pitches well here in this ballpark, 2.66 ERA, 5-4, winning record for the Cardinals with him at home at Busch Stadium this year. This is a guy you'd probably want here in this kind of situation, and he's pitched pretty well in his last few starts. 2 runs or less in 3 straight starts. St. Louis has won all 3 starts, 4 runs total in his last 19 innings of 20 innings of work. So he's in a good groove right now. And look at the bump up in the strikeouts in his last start against Atlanta. 11 strikeouts in 7 innings for Adam Wainwright. So this is the guy you want on the mound. And look, he's done very well against Pittsburgh as well in the past. You look at his numbers against the Pirates. He's given up exactly 1 run in 4 of his last 5 starts against the Pittsburgh Pirates dating back to 2019. So this is a get well spot. If there is going to be a get well spot, it's actually not a gimme St. Louis wins given the way they're playing right now. But if there is a get well spot, it's today. It's Wainwright in good form right now. Has dominated the Pirates in the past, pitches well at Busch Stadium. This would be the day, but I'm not still laying this price. No way. So it's pass for me. Connor, how about you? Pittsburgh, St. Louis.
This is going to be, I think, a pass for me. Looking at this first 5 under 4.5. I know these teams have scored some runs the last few days, especially in game 1. Bunch of runs early yesterday. Pirates, man, I wish I was on the Pirates again. But this is the guy when I bet the Pirates I like is Brubaker. I think he's their best pitcher. I'd want him here. I haven't bet this game yet. I lean the Pirates, and I lean the first 5 under 4.5. We talk about Wainwright's way better at home than he is on the road. A few guys for the Pirates have hit him. Frazier 6 for 25, a couple homers. Colin Moran 6 for 17 with a homer. And I was looking at the Cardinals. Arenado's 3 for 5 with a jack off. Brubaker. It's giving me a slight, maybe not to the under, but I lean first 5 under 4.5 here. I think it's a little bit of a steal with these two pitchers on the mound.
This is a scary game for me to wrap my head around from a total standpoint too, because you have Wainwright at home pitching well, great form. Brubaker's capable. Neither lineup can be trusted sometimes, but you've got this massive wind out to left field in this game, 18 miles per hour, and it's 95 degrees at first pitch. It is humid. It is muggy. It is sticky. The wind's blowing out. Those are the ultimate hitter's conditions right there. So what's going to give? We'll have to wait and see. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Sharpie, what do you think?
I'm like you. At first, I had Pittsburgh on my ticket written down, like, okay, go check into this. You want Pittsburgh on this plus money right now. And then it's Wainwright at home. And then it's Brubaker versus St. Louis, guys. He's been racked by him. He's played him twice. Yeah. He's given up 5 and 3 runs. So it's not the type of spot where you want to back this guy. And then the winds, like I was leaning under, and then it's got 17-mile winds to the out. So it's just a stay-off game for me. There's too much going on. This is a get-well spot for St. Louis. I just can't bet them.
They need it. Because they are in rough shape. They are in the shit, man.
They were right there a few weeks ago, guys, with the Cubs and the Brewers in that division. They were right there, and now they've basically fallen way behind both of those teams. So they got to find their game again for sure. Baltimore and Toronto in Buffalo. We've got a battle of lefties here. Keegan Aiken, Hyunjin Ryu on the mound here. Toronto minus 250, 260 even. Huge favorites here. The total 10 across the board. This is one of those games where, because Ryu's on the mound, Ryu's capable. We know Baltimore can't hit lefties. Keegan Aiken's in a bad way. He's definitely trending in the wrong direction right now for Baltimore. But what a loss last night that was for the Jays. What can you say again about the bullpen? Another problem, another bad outing from them. 5-1 lead disappears. They lose 6-5. I can't lay this price. I like Ryu a lot, but not at this price. And even the minus a half a run in the first 5 innings isn't good enough of a value for me. I don't want any part of a run line with this Jays team because I know I'm going to see that dreaded bullpen at some point, although Baltimore's bullpen's not great either. This could be a live over. Maybe Ryu shuts down Baltimore early. He has pitched better lately. He's coming off one of his best starts in a while, Hyunjin Ryu in his last start. And Aiken, he had one really good start and he's kind of trended the wrong direction, but just keep an eye on it. Maybe you could get this game, especially an early game after a wild one last night, maybe a slow start, and maybe you can jump on one of those live overs. I remember we did that with the Twins and the Reds on a recent show in game, and the David got on it as well. Sometimes those are the best bets to make, especially when you're dealing with 10s before the game starts. Wait it out, see if Ryu shuts down Baltimore. Maybe the Jays start off a little bit slower, and then maybe we can look at an in-game over, because these are two really, really shaky bullpens that really can't be trusted right now. So that would be the approach, probably, maybe an in-game over. Nothing pre-game for me, though. Connor, what do you think? Baltimore, Toronto?
Yeah, we'll see. I think game 1, you were pissed off that game didn't go over. It looked like it was going to fly over. And the game's 5-1 yesterday, late, and all of a sudden Baltimore ties it up, scores the extra run. That gets over the 10.5 yesterday. So you got a little lucky that way if you had the over. It's an in game for me too. If I look in this one, the number's too big for Ryu here. Orioles can hit lefties a little bit. He pitched better his last start, like we talked about. But the number's huge. You'd have to take the Jays' first 5, maybe a full run. We're not even talking half a run here. I don't want to do that. I'm just a stay off for me.
All right, stay off for Conor Mac. How about you, Sharpie? Baltimore, Toronto.
Bet is in. Over 5.5. First 5. I'm on it right now. Just put it in. Here we go. This is why we got Hyunjin Ryu going up against Baltimore. He just faced him 5 days ago. That's a no-no in my books. Now they get their 4th, 5th, 6th at bats off you. You're not going to fool them today. And fooling them, Rue ain't been doing since this crackdown's happened. His strikeouts are at 4.3, 3-1. He ain't getting it's at 5.5 today at -145. If you like juice, go ahead and bet it. He hasn't hit that number in 5-6 weeks, guys. It's not happening. Then you get into the Orioles hitting lefties. That's what kind of scares me a little bit. That's why I didn't bet it last night, but I just put it in now. They're 4th OPS at a long ways. The last 15 days, they're 29th versus lefties. They're not hitting the ball. I've been watching the games. I wrote lean the over, but damn, I was on that over 10.5 first game. I live bet it at 9 in the second inning. I chased that number so high and it never got over 9.5. I'm still hurting from that one, to be real with you. But I'm on the over for this one. They get to Aiken. They got to him last time 5 days ago. The 5-day theory that he ain't going to get any better. So I'm on the over.
All right, there, and that's a good angle. I like that, especially with the short turnaround situations. You got the lineup facing the same pitcher, in a week span, like 1 week separation or less, and that's exactly what you see here in this one. Texas, we've got them against Kansas City. We've got Kyle Gibson on the mound for the Texas Rangers in this one, and for Kansas City, it's Kyle Zimmer. We've got the we've got looks like. We've got Texas here, -160 home favorites, total in this one, 8. Yeah, unfortunately, I was disappointed with this price. I was looking for Texas here in the first 5 innings. I've been on that bet a bunch this year with Kyle Gibson, and rightfully so. He's been great. An ERA just above 2. I had the first 5 innings last start he made against Oakland, and they got out to a big lead, and he pitched pretty well once again. Definitely interested in Texas first 5, but probably would have to go -0.5 a run. Take a shot that they could be leading after the first 5 innings. Kansas City's going back. What a streaky bunch, huh? They start to win a few, and now they've lost 3 in a row. They get clubbed last night by the Texas Rangers in the series opener. They're a streaky team, and now they're on the wrong side of the streak here. So I guess I would lean Texas -0.5 a run, first 5 innings. That would be the way I would go in this one. Kyle Zimmer, it's going to be a bullpen day for Kansas City. Zimmer is making a second spot start. His last spot start, he only went 2 innings, so he's not going to go very long. And then you're going to see a bunch of relievers for the Royals, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing with their bullpen and the way it's been at times this year. So I like Texas, but -0.5 a run we'll go with for better value. What do you think here, Connor? Kansas City, Texas?
Yeah, Gibson's been so good this year. It's just been unreal. That's the problem, though. I can't take this Rangers club at 0.5 a run first 5 here. There's just no way. And this Royals team, I know Gibson's a little bit different. They've hit him hard. Santana got 4 homers. Perez has 2. Even a guy like Ryan O'Hearn, 5 for 6. They just hit him a lot. It's just a game I want nothing to do with. I can't trust Zimmer, so I'm off.
There we go. Yeah, that one. There we go. The freaking mute button on my mic was stuck there, or on the StreamYard app. But there we go. Finally. That one bad start that he had, Gibson, earlier this year against Canada. It was opening day. I remember it, and he just couldn't find the zone. It was control issues. It was command. It was everything, and he was off his game completely that day. So I kind of
he's been really good.
Throw it in the garbage can, but take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if that's a harbinger of things to come today. And look, they're 7-0 in his home starts this year, Texas. They are. So they've won every time he's been out there on the mound in this ballpark. You're right. I mean, it's not a value. The value is not Gibson here. That's for sure. So you're paying a little bit of a premium. Odds makers aren't asleep on this one. They know Gibson's been really, really good. And they know that, look, there's not actually a big difference between these two teams, to be honest. Kansas City's below 500. Texas is really below 500. But, it's not like Kansas City's been some juggernaut. So,
and Zimmer's been pretty good. Real quick, he's been pretty good. I just you could go under here, but seeing these numbers, it was a pass.
Yeah, exactly. You could go first 5 under. I'm going to do the Texas first because their bullpen is shaky. Texas. I don't know if I want much to do with them, but you could say that about Kansas City as well. David, what do you think here? Royals, Rangers.
That's funny. I laughed as soon as you started talking. You took the words out of my mouth. I wrote lean Rangers first 5, but not at this price. It's -170. I did not expect to see that when I clicked on the buttons. I was like, son of a bitch. They don't want me to bet this game. But then you go into the bullpen days, you go into the last 15 days, they're both bottom 5. The Royals are even worse. So as soon as they get Gibson out, I'm going to look to hit the over.
Yeah, and that's right. And if you're into live betting, and most of us are, you've got to look at your bullpen numbers, because you could really jump on some great over situations in game if you find, hey, these two the starters are okay, but hey, these bullpens 4 ERA, 5 ERA, and they're coming in late in the game. Oh, those are amazing situations.
2-2 ball game with 2 runners on, and they want to bring out a guy with a 7 ERA. Let's go.
Yeah.
Those are great situations to take advantage of. There's no doubt about that. Colorado and Milwaukee. Next up, we've got Senzatella and Adrian Hauser on the mound. Milwaukee minus 190. The total 8 here, pretty much across the board in this one. Senzatella, at times this year, has actually pitched decently here for the Colorado Rockies. We'll have to see if he can carry it over here. If you're Colorado, you wonder why you've lost so many road games. You lose the way you did yesterday against Milwaukee in the opener of this series, 5-4. I mean, we know how bad it's been for Colorado, 6-29 on the road coming into this game. But as I said, Senzatella at times has been okay, but lately not quite as sharp. 4 runs allowed against Miami, 5 against Cincy, 4 against Milwaukee in his last start. So trending a bit in the wrong direction. Hauser on the other side for the Milwaukee Brewers. He got roughed up a little against this same Colorado team. So keep that in mind. We've got a situation here where it's one of those turnaround situations, 7-8 days between starts against the very same team for both Hauser against Colorado, Senzatella against Milwaukee here. It's got me pointing toward over the total a little bit. 8 here in this game. I think it could get there. Senzatella is trending in the wrong way a little bit the last few games. He started out pretty strong. But again, on the last 3 starts, 6 ERA. His road ERA is 6.94, which isn't very good. Hauser's been okay, but he got roughed up a little by Colorado 7 days ago, and now that Colorado lineup is seeing the same guy again. I think we could get an over out of this game, Rockies and Brewers. And look, neither bullpen is Milwaukee, actually, I should say, has got a pretty decent pen, but last 10 game numbers, Colorado's pen, 4.58 ERA. Milwaukee's been decent, their pen, the last 10 days, but Colorado's not so much. So you're only talking about a total of 8. I think we could just get this game up and over that number. What do you think here, Connor? Colorado and Milwaukee.
Yeah, 2 pitchers I want nothing to do with, and Hauser at 190, there's no way. Just the Rockies can't win on the road. I mean, if this team could win I want to be all over the Rockies here. And I kind of want to take them first 5. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. And I was looking Rockies team total over 3.5. It's like plus 110, plus 108. I was looking at that as well. And yeah, full game, this could get over. Maybe in game. I just don't love it. I haven't bet it yet, and I'm still thinking about it. But, yeah, I'd lean over. I'd maybe see some runs. As much as I loved the first 5 under yesterday, I don't know about today with Senzatella on the road. Of course, Hauser's a little bit better at home, but he can give up the long ball too. Over here.
All right, lean to the over as well. And again, like we said, it's that turnaround situation. These 2 pitchers faced these 2 lineups exactly a week ago.
Yep.
What do you think here, David?
I know you're saying that turnaround thing, but I'm going to give you my little inside information on that. I throw out Colorado games. If they're in Colorado, it does not count. Because like Burns only threw fastball, curveball in Colorado, but then pulled out changeup, slider, cutter back when he was at home. The ball doesn't break in Colorado, so they're not gonna go to certain pitches. So they will be a different pitcher today. So if you like the under, you can actually go with it because they will be a different pitcher than they were the last week. I'm on Colorado first 5 plus a half at minus 110. You've given me the last 2 weeks. Colorado has the better bats. Senzatella, Hauser are both about the same pitcher in my eyes. But then you go into Milwaukee's lineup. They're missing so many people. They just lost Volgan back. They're already missing Kane. It's like they don't have a lineup to miss these type of people, bro. They just can't fucking hit. So give me Senzatella first 5 plus a half. And I know they can't win the game, so I'm not trying to get in it there.
Yeah, they'll find a way to lose, but plus a half a run is a little bit better.
They're up one.
first
I'll
5
take
innings.
freaking Milwaukee plus money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the last time they had an outbreak offensively at Milwaukee was in Colorado, but everybody has an outbreak there offensively for sure. So we'll have to wait and see. But you're right. We're looking at Wong, Urias. Thank God they have Yelich still. You know, they have Avisail Garcia, Omar Narvaez, Willie Adames. I mean, it's Keston Hiura. Yeah, it's a thin lineup at the moment for Milwaukee. Atlanta, Cincinnati, Ian Anderson and Luis Castillo on the mound here. We've got the Reds slight favorites here, 9 the total in this one. You know, just when I'm giving props and kudos and all this mad love to the Reds and the way they hit at home, somehow they get shut down last night by Drew Smyly. That's baseball sometimes, right? I mean, just hitting the ball like crazy at home, and then Drew Smyly goes in there and does a number and does a tap dance on this Reds lineup. And then I'm forced to watch Joey Votto ground into a double play in the 8th inning with 2 guys on base, down 3-2. Frustrating. But nevertheless, disappointed. That was my day yesterday. It was a horseshit day for me in baseball yesterday. What can I say?
Yeah.
We'll see if it's better today. That was just one of many frustrations for me yesterday with that I had Cleveland. They got out to a nice start, and then their Quantrill was just terrible. Gave it all right back. Just that kind of day. Ian Anderson, 3.33 ERA coming into this start. 2.2 ERA. He's actually on the spin list, which is kind of interesting. But we haven't seen it show up yet, at least in terms of being hit. Have we seen it show up in terms of strikeouts being down? Well, he went from 6.66 to 4.5, so maybe a slight tick down in the strikeout numbers for Ian Anderson. He pitched a gem last year in the playoffs against the Cincinnati Reds. 2 hits, shutout ball in 6 innings. So he pitched well against them. Castillo is starting to pitch a little bit better for the Cincinnati Reds. The last 4 starts have been an improvement for Castillo going into this outing. And he actually has pitched well the last couple of years against Atlanta as well. I just don't know if I want to get any involved in this game whatsoever. Castillo, I don't trust him fully, but I don't necessarily want to fade him anymore because he's been better. And on the flip side with Anderson, I don't love this Braves lineup the way they've been not hitting as much lately. And as Anderson's been really good, continues to be really good, I feel maybe I should be backing him here at this price, first 5 in full game. But, after losing with Cincinnati, this feels like one of those games where if I take Anderson, if I take Atlanta today, guess what's going to happen? They lose like 7-2 or something. It's just got that feel to it. I don't want to be in that situation where I have Cincinnati as one of my better bets yesterday, lose with them, come back with Atlanta today and lose with them. There's nothing more freaking infuriating for me than that. So I'm just staying completely away from this game. How about you, Connor?
Yeah, goddamn. I want to take Anderson and the Braves here. Full game, plus 115. Castillo's been really good. This guy's ERA, is 15 or whatever. He's got it all the way down to 5. He's pitched well his last 2 or 3 starts. The Braves have ripped him, though, going through everyone's 4 for 6, 3 for 5. They've hit him pretty hard here. I mean the Braves, and I kind of looked at these 2 pitchers. Castillo's pitching better. I don't trust him in the end. I was looking at the first 5 under 5, but it's hot, a day game. These teams can score runs, so I looked at a first 5 under 5, but I passed. But I lean Braves here. I think Anderson's the better pitcher. Braves won yesterday. Both these teams boggle me. I think they're just 500 teams just floating around, not doing shit. But I lean Braves at the plus money full game.
There you go. Braves plus money full game. I want to take that too, but I'm scared too because I don't want to be on the wrong Cincinnati. I don't want to be on the wrong end of a Cincinnati win after last night. That's for sure. Yes, we bet for a living. Yes, indeed. For me, this has been 10 years for full time. Yeah, I haven't had another job for 10 years. This has been it. I've had other, income that I've gotten through doing this. I've written a bunch of articles for various sites over the years, get paid to do those. Appearances here and there, get paid to do those. Content now on YouTube, I'm getting paid in various ways to do those. It's all kinds of, and of course, my own betting. I've got my picks subscription that I've had for 10 years. I was with sportsmemo.com for how many years was I there? 6 years before I went on my own. So, this has been it for me, Gianu, asking that question. This has been the way to pay the bills for me for going on 10 years now. Go ahead, Sharpie. What do you think here, Atlanta, Cincy?
I've been betting like for 4 or 5 years, paying a good chunk of taxes. That's my main tax purpose of form of money.
Yes.
But I also own a marijuana company in California, if you'd like to know. But here we go. Ian Anderson, read between the lines, guys. The sticky stuff, spider tack, call it what you like. New York Mets and Phillies don't hit righties. So he did do good versus them because he's a fucking major league pitcher. He's going to do good. He throws 98. But then when he goes against Boston and the Dodgers, they hit right-handers. And when you ain't spinning it, they're going to hit the shit out of you. They both got 4 off of him. Cincinnati hits right-handers, guys. So I see runs coming. Now, do I trust Castillo? Fuck no, I don't. I don't know which guy I'm going to get. I usually pick the wrong side. I wanted a 4.5, and the books are onto it. They put a 5 first 5 because they know these guys are going to get touched today, guys. And it's hard for me to stay off of it. But there's 2 contradicting stats going on. We got the Braves 7th OPS, but really the last 15 days, they're 19th. So the last 2 weeks, they're not fucking hitting the ball. Then we got the Cincinnati Reds bullpen, 30th overall, but 8th the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, the Cincinnati bullpen has been pretty fucking good, guys. So if they get a lead, technically, they should maybe hold on to it. You might still be able to get plus money with a 1-run lead live betting because it's the Braves. Something to look at. But I lean the over 5, and I see it going way over 5. I've chased it the last few days and haven't got there.
All right, we got the Phillies and the Mets next up here. Eflin and DeGrom, Mets minus 255. Favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. Eflin, no, I don't want him on the road, and I certainly don't want him against Jake DeGrom. It's as simple as that. And the Mets have been a pretty good home team this year for the most part. They played very good baseball at Citi Field. This is just a pass because, again, with DeGrom, it's hard to find the value. The Mets should win the game, but again, I don't. There's not much value in DeGrom starts when he's on the mound, so it's a pass for me. Mets should win. I want no part of Philly, that's for sure. Connor, what do you think here? Phillies, Mets.
God damn, computer froze again. All right, I'd be with the Mets, but the price is too big. I'll keep it short. One thing with DeGrom, it went over. What was his last start or the start before? It got to 7 runs. The Mets actually scored, but I'd still be on the full game under, even at 6.5. I know it's minus 120. The Mets don't score runs. The Phillies, I don't trust Eflin. I don't want him. I just think this game could stay under until they start scoring. DeGrom's been an under machine. Just give me the full game, 6.5.
All right, there you go. Under 6.5. Sharpie, what do you think here? Phillies, Mets.
I wanted to hit the under so hard, but that 17 miles per hour wind out to left center just has me fucking scared. Like, I could not pull the trigger on that because of that. Eflin's been good. DeGrom's been good. Like, I totally see it. I don't hate anybody trying to go underneath it. It's just the wind has me freaking off. I'm on DeGrom K-prop. It's 9.5. It's minus 140. It's fucking juice. They don't want you to bet it, but he's a guy you got to ride just blindly, and he's going to cash 70% of the time.
Yeah, and will he be good? You know, he's come out a little bit, and he says he's fine. But, yeah, you could get bit with the K-prop if he only goes just 5 innings, has a little discomfort. It seems like his shoulder's good, but, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And Miami, next up as they host Washington, Zach Thompson and Patrick Corbin, pitching matchup here in this one. Right now, we've got the there we go. All right, we've got Miami about minus 115, home favorites here, 7.5 the total in this game. They haven't been hitting lefties, the Marlins, but they hit one last night, and it was John Lester for the Washington, and they hit him good, and they got him out of there very quickly. And look, they had been struggling mightily. Miami needed a win like that in the worst way, and they got it. A huge blowout, 11-2. Over Washington. They had lost 4 in a row. They got their bats going again, and Pablo Lopez was solid on the bump for the Marlins in that game. Now they'll take on Patrick Corbin here in this game, who's got off to a rough start, has been better of late for sure. You look at his last 3 starts, 3 wins for Washington, and he's given up just 6 runs in his last 19 innings of work. So very good stuff from him in the last few starts. The road numbers still bug me a little bit though about Corbin. 6.98 ERA on the road this year, and just 2-4 Washington in his 6 road starts. Zach Thompson will once again be on the mound here to make his 4th straight spot start for the Miami Marlins, and he's been decent. You know, he's given up 3 runs. In fact, only 2 of them have been earned One of them was an unearned run, but 2 earned runs in 12 innings of work in these 3 spot starts he's had. So pretty impressive stuff for him. I actually lean a little to the Marlins side in the first 5. Don't know if I'll get there because Corbin's form is good, but they did smash Lester last night, a lefty. And, his road numbers, Corbin, also very, very suspect, 6.98 ERA. That worries me a little bit here going into this start. You look at some of the numbers too. Miguel Rojas, who hit a jack last night in the first inning off Lester, 11 for 26, 2 home runs against Pat Corbin. There's my first Jack of the Day candidate right there. Miguel Rojas for the Miami Marlins. You could look at Duvall and Jesus Aguilar as well. Both of those guys have home runs off Corbin as well. Connor, what do you think here? Washington, Miami.
Man, this one's tough. I'm going to stay off. Corbin's been a lot better lately. Those numbers got me scared looking at it this morning. Can the Marlins put 2 games together? I don't know, and I don't want them at -110. They broke out and scored a ton of runs, but they have hit this lefty, and Corbin's been good his last 3 or 4, but he's on the road. It was a circle. I was going in circles. So in this one, I crossed it out. I'm off.
Yeah, he's on, and it's very interesting with those road numbers. Some of those road games were difficult ballparks to pitch in, and the one thing you can say about Marlins Park is it's usually good for pitchers. So that's the one thing. This could, even though his road numbers stink, this is a sketchy lineup. Let's be honest; they were struggling. They were ice cold before last night, and it's a pitcher's venue. So this could be something where Corbin, even though those road numbers are bad, they're putrid, maybe he can survive this one and pitch well. We'll have to wait and see. But I still like some of those props, though, for Miami for home runs. Rojas, Duvall, Aguilar in particular. What do you think here, Sharpie?
I'm on Washington first 5. I mean, I get it. It's Corbin. But, dude, Corbin pitched against this team earlier this year, went 7 innings, gave up 2 runs. This is the Miami Marlins. They're the 28th worst versus lefties. Yes, they got to a lefty yesterday. They're major league ball players. They're going to get hit sometimes. But their track record says they're not going to do it again versus a lefty. So I'm on Corbin first 5 at a little bit of plus money. They've got the better bats by 20 spots OPS. And like Ian said, this kid has been good, but he hasn't gone much more than 3-4 innings. And the Marlins bullpen is legit. So it could be an under spot here now that I'm more talking into. If they're going to go into the bullpen, they have the number 2 bullpen the last 2 weeks. So if Corbin's going to be on like I think he is, this might be an under 4.
Yeah, definitely. So liking Washington first 5. And
I want a 4.5. Really?
Yeah, I really wanted a 4.5. That's why I fucking didn't pull it.
Yeah. 4.5.
It was a big difference. It's crazy how many land right on 4, and you don't get that as a win number. Yeah, it's frustrating for sure for those first 5 totals. It's funny. Sides and totals yesterday for me, it was a tough day with those yesterday. But I got saved by some of these home run props. The home run props, that was one of my better home run prop days in a while. We had Max Muncy, who hit one very late in the game against the Cubs last night. Connor was on that one as well. I had 2 Blue Jay home run props that cashed in. George Springer and Vlad Guerrero both went deep against Matt Harvey, and both of them had hit home runs against Matt Harvey before, which is why I like that. Yeah. And they both got it done.
No one called the 3 from Tatis?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anybody had 3 from Tatis? What a monster performance that was.
Multi-homer. Somebody had that. Yeah.
And they needed it because, look, Arizona was feisty. Chris Paddock. We talk about Chris Paddock again. Yeah, right?
Hey, I got my 2.5 in the second
Oh, it was beautiful.
Inning.
That was one of the end of the night.
You know what?
Muncy's homer and those runs were like, thank God.
It is difficult to pass up an over 2.5, regardless of the team, regardless of who's on the mound for the opposing team. Like 2.5. You can almost score 3 runs these days by accident.
I passed it up at plus money on the Rockies yesterday versus Burn, and I looked at it so hard.
Yeah. I'm going to have to start looking at that. When I see a 2.5 on a team total, just throw out whatever's out there in terms of the matchup, who's on the mound, just bet it. Because you can almost and you've got the bullpens too, which largely are not good across Major League Baseball. You can always get the runs late if they don't come early. That's something to watch for. I'm going to start tracking that, David. I really am. Every time I see a 2.5 team total, what's the over record on that? I'm interested.
It's crazy because you're going to get a 1.5 through 5, and you're going to give me 1 extra run for 4 innings. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Might as well hop on for the ride. Angels and Rays. We've got Alex Cobb and Shane McClanahan here. Tampa Bay minus 160, 7.5 the total in this one here at the Trop. Interesting matchup here. The Rays end up pulling out the victory last night 4-3 over the Angels in that one. Alex Cobb on the mound here for the Angels. We'll see how he fares. Shane McClanahan for the Tampa Bay Rays, who's been in this rotation now for a little bit, for quite some time. We'll see how he fares here in this one against the Angels. But Tampa Bay went through a little bit of a swoon, but now they've won 3 in a row. So heating up again. Streaky bunch here, this Tampa Bay Rays team. They are battling still pitching injuries. That's why they've had to go deep into this rotation, find other guys to step up. McClanahan, 4.03 ERA overall. Cobb, 4.41 ERA. But, he had a much better start against Detroit in his last game. But before that was kind of struggling in back-to-back against Arizona and Seattle. Struggled in both of those games. His ERA on the road, 6.64 coming into this start against the Rays, although he's actually pitched pretty well against them in the past and held them to 2 runs earlier this season when facing the Tampa Bay Rays. So see if he can pitch well here. McClanahan, they're 0-4 in his last 4 starts, but he's given up 3 runs or less in 3 of the last 4 outings. He shut out the Angels in 4 innings, pitching against them earlier this season. In fact, that was Cobb versus McClanahan in that game, and Tampa Bay won it by a score of 8-3 back on May the 4th. Yeah, it's just a game all around. I don't have a strong feel, side or total, so I'm just going to leave it alone. What do you think here, Connor? Angels and Rays?
Me either. I had the over 8 yesterday, and it was 3-2 after 1, and a whole lot of ducks on the pond. I mean, guys were out there, bases loaded, double plays, hit into everything you can think of. It didn't get over. I'd be on the over here at 7.5. It's even money. I don't trust Cobb. He's been better lately. And McClanahan's been a bit shaky. His last start was a bit better. But I like his stuff. Just a game, I'm off as well. The Rays went on that bad losing streak. Now they've won a couple. I don't want them at this minus 150 price. But lean over the 7.5. Maybe a sneaky over here in game 2. I'm going to look at.
If you buy in, again, we're talking now late June baseball. And like I always say on this show, full season numbers, it's nice to know them, but you've got to be looking at last 5 games, last 10 games, last 30 days. You've got to be looking at current form. And if you buy into current form splits, the Angels, maybe at least in the first 5 innings, maybe a live dog here, because you look at the Rays in the last 10 games, 183 against righties, 4.23 runs per game. The Angels against lefties, 293 team average, 4.63 runs per game against lefties. So, and they're facing one here in McClanahan. So, make points toward the Angels first 5 if you believe those short-term splits. David, what do you think?
I'm right there. I'm on the Angels first 5 plus 112. I think the wrong team's favored on the first 5. That's favored because the bullpen guys. Angels smash lefties. They've smashed them all year. They smashed them the last 15 days. It's just they eat lefties. McClanahan is not an ace, so I see at least 2-3 from him. And if Cobb can give me 2, I win I win. So if he could just give up 2 or less, and the Rays, they're bottom 10 versus righties, guys. Yes, the last 15 days, they're 22. Overall, they're 11. So if you look at them overall, they smash righties, blah, 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 blah. They haven't been smashing righties, where the Angels still keep hitting lefties. They haven't stopped. I'm looking to Angels first 5, and then I want to live bet the Rays after 5 is what I wrote down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again, short-term splits, short-term numbers say the data points to the Angels, the better offensive matchup here in this game today. So there's something to that, like in the Angels here in the first 5. All right, next game, we've got Houston-Detroit Part 2, Game 2 of their doubleheader. Lance McCullers and Fast Willie Peralta for the Detroit Tigers. We've got Houston minus 265 favorites here on the road, 7.5 the total. I don't see it's at many books the team total options posted yet for this game, maybe because it's a doubleheader. But I'm interested in Houston's team total over against any kind of mediocre or below average pitcher right now. And that is certainly Willie Peralta for the Detroit Tigers. I'm absolutely shocked he found his way and back into a major league rotation again, to be honest with you. But he was not good in that first start against the Angels. He got roughed up quite a bit. Yeah, good luck now trying to shut down the hottest lineup in baseball right now. So I'm going to keep it simple. I think McCullers is pitching pretty well for the most part. He certainly is capable of pitching well again here, but I'm just going to really key in on the team total here for Houston. That's what I'll be looking at here in this second game. Connor, what do you think game 2 of the double dip?
Yeah, McCullers has been really, really good so far this year. 4-1, 2.9 ERA. This doubleheader, you know me, I don't want a guy almost 300 on the road. He's gotten touched a little bit too. Scope, a guy who's been red hot for the Tigers, 5 for 9 with a homer. Cabrera 4 for 7. Grossman 4 for 7. A couple guys have hit him. He's done well this year. I just don't like it. It could go over. Peralta, he's nothing special. And the Astros has just been raking. Maybe you lean over, but it's an 8 in a 7-inning game. So doubleheader, I stay away. Wait.
Seven. I see 7.5 in a couple spots, but there's 8s and others as well. So make sure you shop around. If you like the full game over, find that 7.5. There are a couple out there. Sharpie, what do you think?
It just switched. There's a 7.5.
Shit my pants when I heard an 8, dude. Like in a 7-inning game.
Yeah.
And I thought I was cool going on the over, wanting to bet the over. I don't know about that one, man. But I see 7 runs from the fucking Astros. I mean, I want to see their lineup. I want to see how this 15-mile-per-hour wind in the first game is actually, if it isn't holding balls down and what's going on. If the ball's still being hit and they put out a right lineup, I'm just going to over. I don't care about McCullers. He'll give up 2. I can't bet him at minus 300. But even if he gets touched, it still helps my over because Peralta and Detroit's bullpen is going to throw up some runs too.
Yeah, look at even the Astros team total. Yeah. Yeah, the Astros team total, Dave, 4.5, apparently, DC is saying. So there you go. 4.5 in a 7-inning game.
Make sure they send out the right lineup and that they're not pulling Correa and some people.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing with the doubleheaders. You know, some guys get, especially if Houston wins the first game, you've really got to check that lineup in the second game because you could see some of their, Correa, Brantley, Altuve. Who knows? You could see guys sat down. Bregman. Who knows? So it's definitely something you want to check before first pitch. Right half an hour or so, you'll have the lineups at your disposal, and then you'll know who's in. So definitely something to look at. All right, the next 2 games are those. What do they call it? Baseball Night in America on Fox on a Saturday night. These next 2 games. First one being Yankees and Red Sox, national TV on Fox. We've got Montgomery and Nady Eovaldi on the mound here. Boston minus 120. Home favorites here. The total 10 across the board. Another example of how bad the night was for me. Yankees Red Sox over in that game last night. It's soaring over in the first few innings and just it dies in the second half of that game, and it ends 5-3. Eovaldi, this is a game again. I'm staying off this game. I got to tighten the belt a little bit. We're getting later into the season. I find for me at least, it's more and more tricky, close to the All-Star break and then beyond. So I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate in terms of what exactly fits the bill in terms of bettable games and bettable sides, bettable totals. This one's not too bettable for me because Montgomery, when he's on, he can be very good. But I don't know if I necessarily trust that. But you look at this Boston Red Sox team. They mashed lefties of late. For the season, they're good against lefties. The last 10 games, 302 average, 6.51 runs per game against lefties. So that sets them up to where you think they could do some damage here against Montgomery. They faced him twice last year. They got 5 runs in 7.4 innings against him. So that's pretty good for this Boston team. Although, again, Montgomery coming off a pretty good start against Oakland. Eovaldi, I like him, but I bet on him last start, and he was terrible. It was probably his worst start of the year against Kansas City. They lose 7-3. He gave up 4 runs, 7 hits in 4 innings in that game. Now facing the Yankees where, for the most part, he's pitched really well against them. He's given up 2 runs or less against the Yankees in 7 of the 9 starts he's made against them. The one anomaly was an 8-run performance he allowed in 5.1 innings against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium last year. Other than that, though, he's pitched pretty well against this Yankees lineup. Can he bounce back here? That's going to be the question for Nate Eovaldi. 4.29 ERA for him at home this year. I guess if I'd lean one direction, it would be Boston, maybe the team total as an option. They hit lefties. Montgomery on the roads also kind of struggled. But just a lean for me right now. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Connor, what do you think? Yankees, Red Sox?
I haven't either. This game should get over, but I don't know if it will. I kind of like the Yankees at this plus price, plus 115. I watched the Eovaldi start last game. It wasn't good. I'm sure he'll want to get back home. A lot of these Yankees have hit him hard. Judge, Stanton, 6 for 16, 7 for 23. Even a guy like Clint Frazier, 4 for 7. Voit, 4 for 9. Yeah, I lean over here on the Yankees at a plus price. I haven't took the Yankees much. Both these teams have disappointed me, whether I take their team total or an over. They're kind of my stay away to bet on these, but I lean the Yankees here getting the plus price. Maybe their team total as well.
Yeah, there are definitely some Jack of the Day candidates. You're right, Judge, Frazier, Urshela, even Sanchez for the Yankees against Nate Eovaldi. And there's definitely some for the Red Sox with especially Devers against Jordan Montgomery. So there's a couple home run prop. This might be worth a look there. Sharpie, what do you think here? Red Sox, Yankees.
I'm pretty much with you, Ian, on this one. I think Eovaldi's the better pitcher. I have him as a number 2 in my system, and Montgomery is a 3. They're pretty much even down the road when you get to the bullpens and you get to the bats. But the Yankees have been a little hotter the last few weeks. Their bullpen is a little better, but they're both 15 and 23 bullpens the last 2 weeks. They're not the bullpens that we have them written down as a lights out type bullpen. So we got 13 miles per hour blowing out the left center. We're in Boston, so the ball's going to fucking fly with that wind. Can I get 0-0 after 2 and get a really good number on that over? Because that's what I'm looking to do.
There you go. Wait for a better number. Live over potential here. Cubs and Dodgers. Alec Mills, Julio Urias on the mound here. Dodgers minus 215. Home favorites, total 9 in this one. This is definitely for Urias a bounce back spot, hopefully for him, because against the Padres, which was a rough series for the Dodgers earlier this week, 6 runs in 4 innings and 2 home runs allowed. He's now given up a home run in 6 straight starts, Urias. So it's time to get a little concerned about his propensity to give up the long ball. He's been giving them up a bunch as of late. And against this Cubs team, look, Hayward, Baez, Chris Bryant, have all hit jacks against Julio Urias in the past. So I'm looking at some Cubbies maybe here for home run props against Urias tonight. We'll see if he can bounce back. But by the way, the Cubs also, in terms of splits, both for the season and currently shorter term, hitting lefties better than righties. So keep an eye on that for this Cubs team. Maybe can do some damage here. I'm not so sure this is the bounce back spot here for Urias. On the flip side, you got Alec Mills, and really what Alec Mills is just a fringe arm at this point. Spot starter, pitches primarily out of the bullpen. He did pitch really good his last start, but it was an ice cold Miami lineup at the time. 6-hit shutout in 5 innings. Before that, nothing to write home about. 2 runs in 4 innings against the light-hitting Brewers. 3 runs, 5 hits, 4.1 innings against the sometimes light-hitting Mets. Dodgers can be light-hitting because at times this week they have been. So, but the Dodgers are still a step up from Milwaukee, from the Mets. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the teams that Alec Mills has faced in the last few games. So I'm tempted by this over. But again, I kind of liked it last night. It fell short with Arrieta, and I thought they'd crush Arrieta, and they didn't necessarily do that. They struggled to really get that big hit against him last night. Now, they still won the game, the Dodgers, but I don't know. To me, this looks like it could be an over matchup, but I thought that last night and stayed under. So I'm lukewarm on the over here in this game. What do you think, Connor?
I didn't get there. If Urias is anything like he's been his last couple starts, and especially that last one in San Diego, he had nothing. He had no – I mean, that's the worst I've ever seen him. He started out so well. He's not good. He's a little foolish here. He's 9-3, 3.99 ERA. No way I want him minus 200. There's just no way. I think the Cubs at a plus price. We talk about how the Cubs rip lefties. And I think their run scored. I think Dodgers can hit Mills. Perfect guy. They should hit here. I think it can get up and over 9. Maybe look at team totals here as well.
Wind is blowing out a little. Not a strong wind, not a heavy wind, but the wind is still blowing out as well. And you're right. Urias, by the way, in terms of, I wanted to bring that up. Thank you for mentioning that little stat. That was a different stat about Urias trending to the over. But just overall, this season, Urias is 8-1-1 to the over in his 10 starts, in his last 10 starts. 5-1 to the over here at Dodger Stadium in 6 home starts. 11-3 to the over in his 14 starts overall this season, Julio Urias. So he has been an over-trending pitcher on the mound. What do you think here, Sharpie? Cubs, Dodgers?
I had to check up because I heard you say that the Cubs were in better form. The last 2 weeks, the Cubs are 23rd OPS versus lefties when regularly I just checked up to make sure, but regularly they're 14th. So they haven't been hitting lefties the last 2 weeks. And if I don't have a book and it's too juiced at the first 5 -1/2 for me at -160, but if you have a book that does 4.5s, take the Dodgers homes out of it. They're going to be up after 4.5, guys. This is Mills, a bottom of the barrel righty. The Dodgers crush bottom of the barrel righties. They're going to get to this guy. And I mean, it does scare me a little bit, you guys reading off the numbers of Urias. And is he using spider tack? Is he not? The last few games might say he does. So that might just be an over spot. But to me, it's screaming Dodgers. I'm a Dodger fan. I'm a homer. And that might be a homer play is what I'm getting at. But I just think this is their spot to smash. They have the same type of bullpen, so I don't want to really go into the -1.5 shit. I just rather get in on the first 5 and get out.
Yeah, the Cubs' production against lefty pitchers has gone down, but their current production against lefty pitchers is still better than it is against righties, believe it or not. Like, they're actually even worse right now against righties. The Cubs, the last 10 games, I've got them at 242 average. I've got them at a 161 average in the last 10 games against righties. So it's been absolutely awful for them against righties. Like, they've been just completely inept against righty pitching. At least the lefty side, they haven't been great either there, but they've at least been a little bit better. And Urias in bad form. So yeah, Dodgers should get theirs too. Like I say, Alec Mills against this lineup, I don't trust that one bit. So I think over the total of 9 is the way
Dodgers
to go.
Bats finally woke up in the 7th, so maybe they carry that over to today because it was they weren't getting Arrieta when they should have.
I agree. I think you could see runs here. Oakland, San Francisco. Frankie Montas, Alex Wood, Giants here, -115, -120, 8 the total. I should have known it was going to be a bad day when I decided, I'm Ian Cameron. I'm going to be a moron today and bet against the San Francisco Giants at even money at home, and that's exactly what I did yesterday with, I know. But I got suckered into the Manaya's incredible run. And I didn't buy Cueto, and Cueto goes out. I don't know what Oakland was doing against Cueto last night, but they made him look like a Cy Young winner last night on the mound. But another frustrating moment for me yesterday watching. And because I've been on San Francisco a bunch. Everybody that's watched this show this season knows I've taken San Francisco with these cheap, and they're still cheap. They're still cheap. They're still not getting respect. They're not getting a lick of respect, this team. If I'm Nut Flush Allen, Mike Allen, our boy from the Bay Area, they're a big Giants fan, I'd be shouting it to the masses. Like, what do we need to do to get some damn respect? No respect at all, like Rodney Dangerfield. That's the thing, yeah. Stuck my butt out of the car. They thought I was trying to moon them, yeah. Or stuck my face out of the car. They thought I was mooning them. Yeah. What a great comedian he was in his day. But yeah, San Francisco's cheap here. The one issue is, guess what? Wood is not so good as of late. He is starting to regress a little bit. He's starting to come back down to earth. We kind of figured that might happen. Like, he was unbelievable early in the season, but we figured there's going to be some kind of comeback to earth for him. Montas, 4.79 ERA. He's been better lately, but the numbers overall aren't great. I think we could see runs here. I know we had a low-scoring game yesterday, but the total's 8, and there's a huge wind out to left field, 11 miles per hour here for this game in the Bay Area there at that Oracle Park there in San Francisco. We've got significant wind blowing out in this ballpark tonight. So, it is an under park. I don't know if it's an under conditions today with that wind, though.
And these two pitchers, Wood's kind of gone backward. Montas is decent, but he's nothing to write home about. So I could see this game getting over the total. And I'm done betting against San Francisco at home for now. They're still undervalued. They've been just incredibly good. They found ways to win. It'll be San Francisco or pass, and I like the over a little bit here in this game. Connor, what do you think here with the Battle of the Bays?
Yeah, I had to stay off it yesterday. We talked about it, Sharpie. This one too, I'd be on the Giants. I know Wood's not been that great lately. But Montas, man, he's gotten hit hard, especially a guy who talked about on the spin rate. He seems like he's taking it here. Wind blowing out, but yeah, maybe an over. Yeah, night games in San Francisco in that park. I always like unders, but with the wind blowing out, with these two pitchers, maybe it gets over. Maybe an in-game bet here, but I'm off here. Lean Giants. How can you not?
Yeah, I like the over here. I think Oakland's bats will come to life here against Wood a little bit today. And on the flip side, I think the Giants score against Montas. And the total's reasonable at 8, and the wind's blowing out. So I've talked myself into the over here. What do you think here, David, with Oakland San?
I'm on the first 5 over 4. We've got Oakland, who's batting 6th versus lefties the last 15 days, and we've got the Giants batting 4th the whole year and the last 15 days versus righties. So they just eat righties. We've got Montes, who's already been suspended for PEDs. You don't think that fool cheats with some sticky substance? And then we got Alex Wood coming from the Dodgers, the king of the sticky substances. He got touched his first game off the IR with this sticky substance touch. He's going to get touched again. 4 runs is a fucking blessing right now. It's going to be a slaughterhouse with these two guys up. So I'm on the over first 5.
All right, double dip. Take David's first 5 over. Take my full game over, and hopefully we go up 2-0 with that. But it makes a lot of sense. You got these two pitchers going in the wrong way. By the way, I missed the 7th inning stretch. I was supposed to do it before this game we just talked about, before the West Coast game. So we'll do it now. 7th inning stretch. We hit up everybody in the chat. We thank them for joining us on a Saturday. Over 200 live viewers. Incredible. Yeah, we're not here. We're not doing this without you guys. That's why we're here. Brian Watson, Raymond Reddington, Maxwell Smart, Gianu, DC, Cash Action, Betts, Sterling Gentry, Cheshire Cat, Anthony Witherspoon, Alexander Sosa, Platinum Paul, who I saw in the Discord a couple weeks ago. Great guy. Cash Action, Betts, I mentioned him already. Ergo Caustic. Pub Sports Radio is the channel. Eric Jones. That's the thing. When you look at, you get zoned in and you're locked in. You're just reading. Wait a minute. I don't Pub Sports Radio. I don't need to say that one.
Trapping and capping in the Discord.
Yeah, exactly. Trapping and capping in the Discord. Brian Watson, Puzzler, John Chow, Unk Oliver. So good stuff. DC. Great to see everybody in the chat. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here on this Saturday edition. /45 Bubba Wallace guy. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Akbar. Thanks to everyone for joining us here on this Saturday. We're down to our last game. Arizona and San Diego. Danielson Lamet for the Padres. Merrill Kelly for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres, again, massive favorites here. -280 home favorites. 7.5 the total here in this game. Merrill Kelly pitched a little bit better last time out. We'll have to see if it's a sign of things to come. Can he keep it rolling going into this start? But we know it's been overall a disappointing season. I don't know if I trust him on the road, though, against this insanely red-hot San Diego ball club right now. I mean, what the Padres are doing offensively right now is thoroughly impressive. San Diego, their last look at during this win streak, which is now at 8. 6-8, 7-3, 6-3, 5-11. They've been mashing the ball. 8 straight wins. Good luck for Merrill Kelly trying to shut them down, because he's probably going to need some good luck to shut them down going into this outing against them. He did pitch 2 starts earlier this year, both back in April against the Padres. 3 runs, 5 hits in 4 innings. Struggled in the first here in San Diego. Did pitch better in Arizona against them. 1 run, 4 hits, 6 innings. We'll see how it goes, but long term, the numbers, you look at it, there's been some success for Tatis. 6 for 15, 3 home runs against Merrill Kelly. How do you pass that up, Tatis? Maybe to have multiple home run game again today, just like last night. 3 home runs against Merrill Kelly. in the past. So he's almost like that. This might be one of those home run props. Usually I keep the units like quarter unit, less than a quarter unit for me on these home run props. Because again, these are just things you should be sprinkling on. I might go quarter unit or even half unit on Tatis tonight, because not only is he in great form, but he's got this incredible track record against Merrill Kelly. Hosmer and Tommy Pham have hit very well against Merrill Kelly in the past as well. Caratini has a couple of hits. So there you go. A lot of success for some of these Padres against Merrill Kelly. Danielson Lamet on the other side, where I think there's a good pitcher in this guy. We're waiting and waiting to see if he turns it around. In the last 2 starts, he's done a better job since the rough few starts when he returned from the injured list initially. But the last 2, Colorado and Cincinnati, 1 run, 4 hits, 4 innings, shut out Cincinnati in 5 innings in his last start. His strikeout numbers are jumping up, 7 strikeouts in his last start against the Reds. So Danielson Lamet starting to trend in a better direction in terms of pitching right now for the Padres. The Arizona Diamondbacks, by the way, last 10 games against right-handed pitching for them, a 184 average, 3.29 runs per game. So nothing to write home about. San Diego team total over makes sense here. I don't trust Kelly's, especially on the road, has struggled. The bullpen behind him is terrible. We know that. We know that firsthand because we bet against that bullpen and bet live overs with Arizona multiple times lately. So I think San Diego team total would be the way I'd go. But more than anything, that Fernando Tatis prop is probably the bet I like the most in this game to hit a home run. How could you not? He had 3 last night. He's had 3 against Kelly in the past. So I think that I like that home run. Usually I don't like the home run prop more than anything else. But in this game, that's probably the case. I like Tatis to go deep, go yard tonight once again. Conor Mac, what do you think? Arizona, San Diego.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I don't want the Lamet at the price. Obviously, I'm sure a ton of people will take him run line and a lot of parlays and stuff like that. Padres team total, D-backs team total, even again at the 2.5 we talked about, it's -120. Just give me the full game over 7.5. Kelly's gotten ripped by all these Padres. You talked about Tatis, but Pham's got a homer. There's a bunch of other guys that have hit him really hard. I don't trust him on the road. His ERA's 6, and the Padres been feeling it. So give me the full game over here as well, over 7.5. I think it's a little bit of a bargain.
Look at these road starts lately for Kelly, by the way. 5 runs in 6 innings against Milwaukee. And we talked about how Milwaukee is not exactly a potent lineup. And then against San Francisco, 2 starts ago, 4 runs in 3 innings and 3 walks. So it's been the road has not been, he's been road weary, Merrill Kelly, to say the least. Sharpie, what do you think?
I'm going to give you guys a little info on Lamet. I live 25 minutes from the Padres minor league ballpark. I've seen him, Paddock and them, Tatis. I've grown up watching. That's $8 to go watch these guys play. Lamet will be their number 1. He is their projected ace of the future, guys. This guy is the real fucking deal, bro. Like, he came off a few bad starts because he didn't pitch in spring training. He didn't have a spring training. His first 2 starts was his spring training.
You had to get the arm loose. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, throw those out, take it in. We've got Arizona Diamondbacks. They just don't hit righties. We've got the Padres who fucking eat righties. We've got a way better bullpen. I'm on the Padres run line -120, and I'm on the Padres to score first at -130.
All right, there we go. That's a good bet. First run of the game to San Diego, -130.
1 run or less. It's like you're really going to get that run, and Kelly's going to get popped.
Yeah, that's especially when you look at he's settled in. He's slammed the door shut early in games. The last few starts here to Lamet, so definitely a reasonable price on, more than reasonable at -130 for the first run. And like I said, I like Tatis to go for that home run prop. Great stuff. Saturday, that is the Saturday card with Conor Mac and Sharpie. Great analysis. And we gave you everything we could, information, numbers, stats, trends, records, splits. I can't give you much more information in an hour and just a bit than we did for this Saturday MLB card. We will get to Jack of the Day. We will get to best bets in just a second. But first, messages from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Southtown 101, San Antonio, Texas. When you're there, check them out. Live food, or great food, great drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, and more. Southtown 101. Manscaped, promo code Pub Sports. The all new and improved Lawnmower 4.0 is available for purchase, and you can get 20% off that purchase if you use the promo code Pub Sports. So check out Manscaped. MyBookie.ag, a promo code Pub Sports. We've got obviously NHL and NBA playoffs winding down, but there's still baseball every single day. There's going to be a huge month coming up of UFC. Lots of events. We're only a couple weeks away from the massive McGregor and Poirier pay-per-view. That July UFC pay-per-view, it's always arguably the biggest show of the year. So that one will be up there with that. Football is a couple months away. Looking forward to that. It's right around the corner. So mybookie.ag, you can use Bitcoin for your accepted currency for your deposit. Mybookie.ag, promo code Pub Sports. All right, it is that time. There's a lot of options at our disposal when it comes to this today. It's time for Jack of the Day.
Well, see you later.
Options. You know, it's like going to the buffet and you've got so many different great items of food you can get and take to your table with you. There are a lot of options. There's Cesar Hernandez against Kenta Maeda, which is very, very interesting. There's Adam Frazier against Adam Wainwright, even though Wainwright pitches well at home. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Vlad Guerrero Jr. against Keegan Aiken of the Baltimore Orioles are home run props worth looking at. You can look at Mancini against Ryu even in that game. There's a bunch of different directions you can go. There's a couple of those New York Mets that I'm interested in. Pilar, Conforto, Alonso against Zach Eflin is kind of interesting as well. I mentioned Miguel Rojas, Duvall, and Aguilar against Patrick Corbin. I think those are worth a look potentially for home run props in this one. You could look at Hayward, Baez, and Bryant against Urias. You couldn't go wrong with that. I would potentially look at Luke Voigt for the Yankees, Judge, and Clint Frazier as well against Nady Eovaldi. But the one I like the most, you know it, Fernando Tatis Jr. There you go, against Merrill Kelly tonight. Absolutely. But the Jack of the Day, I'm gonna be on a bunch of these. There's a lot that I like there. I like those Miami guys a lot too. They've got great numbers against Corbin. But Tatis stands out like a sore thumb. He just got 3 home runs last night. He's had 3 against Kelly. Hard to turn that one down. Conor Mac, Jack of the Day.
Yeah. You mentioned it, Frazier. You went through them. The Yankees, Judge, Stanton, but Santana with the Royals has 4. But I looked at Conforto, Baez, and Tatis were the kind of 3 I looked at today for Jack of the Day.
Looks like we got a trifecta then, because I'm on Tatis too. Like straight up. How you gonna fade that kid, bro? That kid, how you gonna fade the chain? Or okay, I'll go Cronenworth. Yep. Fine. I'll take Cronenworth because that kid's been raking too.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned Cronenworth, and I'll throw Machado in that group too. They don't have a home run in the past against Kelly, but they're in the groove right now, both of them. Machado, and you're in the Crone zone, as Don Orsillo would say.
My kid has a Cronenworth jersey, and I tell him I don't see him on the Padres in 4 years because they're not going to be able to afford him. This kid's playing out of his mind.
Out of his mind, good. And he's had he had a home run in each of the games against the Dodgers earlier this week. That's how good he's been. Incredible. That's why Don Orsillo and the Mudcat there, Mark Grant, they always say you're in the Crone zone every time he goes. I love those two guys. They're the most entertaining baseball broadcast team going right now. They are amazing. Then they have fun too. They're like joking around, and it's just a great broadcast. San Diego is a pleasurable MLB broadcast to listen to every single time with Don Orsillo and Mark Grant. Love that team. And so I look at Cronenworth and Machado as well, definitely for the Padres. But Tatis, goes without saying. All right, guys, best bets. Connor, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
I like the full game over. And Larry Lamet might be too good. You really talked him up, Sharpie. But these Padres better not let me down. The team total at 4.5 is -118. I think it's a good price. You got to give me 5 tonight. Kelly's been garbage on the road. So give me the Padres team total over 4.5. Talking all these Padres, give me the team total today, baby. Over 4.5. Best bet.
All right, Padres team total over 4.5. Best bet to do damage against Merrill Kelly, who's been damaged goods on the road pretty much all season. What do you think here, David Sharpe? Your turn. Best bet.
Well, they dropped the juice on the K prop I already bet, so we're going Jake DeGrom over 9.5 at -135 right now. You're giving me the best pitcher in baseball, averaging 13 Ks per 9. If they leave him in 6 innings, he gets it. Philadelphia is a top 11 team, K per 9. Jacob DeGrom is the greatest pitcher to ever live in a 5-year period, guys. There's one other guy next to him, ERA-wise, and it's Sandy Koufax, and he didn't play against these hitters that DeGrom's going against, guys. So we got a Hall of Fame pitcher in his prime right now against a team that's just struggling versus right-handed pitching. So I'm all over DeGrom. He actually gets better as the game goes on, which most pitchers don't.
Crazy.
Second time through the lineup, his OPS goes down. Third time, it goes down even more. So it's like once he gets third time through the lineup, he's throwing you that slider, and you can't fucking touch it because you're thinking fastball. You're done.
Yeah.
Jacob fucking DeGrom to the bank.
Bank it,
There you go. Take
it.
DeGrom. Strikeout prop. Best bet for Sharpie. Mine is going to be, let's go to a little late night action here for my best bet. Bay Area battle. Give me over 8 here with Oakland, San Francisco. I like that it was a low-scoring game last night. I think you're going to see a different story unfold. I can't explain how or why Oakland got shut down by Cueto, but I think they'll do better against Wood, who's trending a little bit downward in his recent starts, which haven't been as good. And on the flip side, Montas, not at all sharp in his last start against Texas of all teams, and he got ripped in that game. I think San Francisco at home, they hit Yastrzemski, Solano, go on down. Belt and Crawford look like reinvigorated veterans, holdovers from that championship winning group of the Giants. So I like the way they're going offensively. I think we see runs, winds blowing out tonight at Oracle Park. Oakland, San Francisco, over 8 for my best bet. There we go. Who's that joining you there, Sharpie? I think you're muted.
Okay.
I said that's Dodgers. She's my champion as of last year.
Yeah.
She's my little champion.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very good. I love the name as well. Great stuff. All right, that'll wrap it up. Saturday edition of the Closing Time Show. David Sharpe will be with us every Saturday on this show moving forward. Great insight from him. We will be back, Connor and I, on this show tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. We'll also be back in half an hour. We've got NBA Pub Hub, top of the hour, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll look at Game 4, Suns and Clippers. It's a big one. Big swing game in the series tonight, and we will preview it on the NBA Pub Hub in half an hour from now. For Conor Mac, for David Sharpe, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. We'll see you in a half hour for the NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio.